Hey there, listeners, it's Red, your trusty guide through the whirlwind of relationship tales. Welcome to Red Hunt, where we uncover the juiciest stories from Reddit and navigate the unpredictable terrain of love together. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more captivating content. Am I the antagonist for not changing my travel plans so that my co-parent can see our kids? 18 months ago, I separated from my husband, and we now peacefully co-parent our 5-year-old and 3-year-old, who have a strong bond with their dad. Throughout our marriage, I followed him wherever his job took him, as his work required frequent relocation. However, he never showed appreciation for my sacrifices or acknowledged how much I gave up for his career. He was also very assertive about how he spent his time, so I often put my own desires on hold to avoid inconveniencing him. Our most recent move brought us close to my hometown, and we bought a house with the intention of settling down long-term, thinking his days of moving were over. Even after our separation, we plan to live near each other for the sake of our kids. However, he has unexpectedly been asked to work on a 2-year project in a distant town. His plan is to fly back every other weekend to see the kids. Considering his work schedule, I agreed to go away for a weekend next month with my children and some close friends from overseas who have kids the same age. Now, he wants to change his schedule and requests that I leave the kids with him instead of taking them with me on our trip. The reason behind this change is that his dad will be turning 70 the weekend before, and he now wants to visit his dad instead of spending time with the kids. If he goes through with this, the kids won't see their dad for 3 weeks. I responded to him by saying that I'm not willing to alter my plans. I spent so much time accommodating his career and plans, and I don't want to do that anymore. It feels unfair to ask me not to take the kids on this weekend getaway, just because he wants to change his schedule. I am finally making plans for myself. Of course, I do not want the kids to go without seeing their dad for 3 weeks, but it was his decision to move away and now change his schedule at the last minute. Yet, he expects me to change my plans to accommodate him and considers me unreasonable for saying no. He argues that his dad's 70th birthday is more important than my weekend with friends, which makes me feel guilty. At the same time, I believe that this assessment of the issue is unfair. He didn't ask nicely or acknowledge the sacrifice it would require, and I am exhausted from feeling like I don't matter. Am I the one in the wrong for standing firm on this? To clarify the situation, his grandfather's birthday is on the first weekend, and initially he didn't plan to attend the celebration, which is in a different city, but he had planned to visit the kids. The following weekend is when I have planned my trip, and he was not going to be in town. Now, he wants to go see his dad instead of spending time with the kids, and then I should leave the kids at home and go on my trip so that he can visit them that weekend instead. You have every right to prioritize yourself and your plans after years of accommodating his career. It's not fair for him to suddenly change his schedule and expect you to completely rearrange your plans, especially when he could have attended his dad's birthday without affecting the kids' visitation. Stick to your guns and continue prioritizing your own needs and well-being. Am I the antagonist if I stopped giving my 2 nieces presents for their birthdays and Christmas? I, a 37-year-old female, have 2 siblings. My younger sister Jane, who is 35 years old, and my younger brother Josh, who is 31 years old. By the way, all names mentioned are fake. I have 3 children, 2 boys and a newborn baby girl, born in December. My sister has a daughter and a son, and my brother has 2 daughters. In our family, we only exchange gifts for the children on birthdays and Christmas, and we keep the gifts reasonably priced. However, for the past few years, my brother and his family have stopped giving gifts to my kids and my sister's kids. My sister and I, on the other hand, continue to give gifts to my brother's 2 girls. If they were facing financial difficulties or going through a rough time, we would understand completely. However, my brother and his family either claim to have forgotten and promise to get something in the future, which they never do, or they make excuses that they were not aware of the gift-giving tradition. We have even suggested that a simple card from the dollar store would mean a lot, but it seems like our requests fall on deaf ears. Furthermore, my brother's 2 girls never show any appreciation for the gifts they receive. Adding to the problem is the negative attitude of my brother and his wife. For instance, if you give them a gift, it ends up either completely destroyed, lost, or thrown away by my brother and his wife, even when it's in perfect condition. Similarly, gift cards or cash are lost, and they don't seem to care about their whereabouts. Clothes they receive get damaged because my brother's wife refuses to do laundry, and they end up throwing them away after being worn just once or twice. Books are ripped and destroyed as well. Even second-hand or homemade gifts are simply disregarded by my brother's family. As a hobby, I enjoy cross-stitching and can create various projects such as Christmas stockings, wedding date frames, and welcome baby gifts. They specifically requested baby date ones for their 2 girls, and I happily made them. However, these gifts are now sitting in a closet, collecting dust, and getting damaged due to being piled on top of by other items. This personally hurts me since I put so much effort into making them. The rest of our family is unsure how to handle the situation. Our parents are reluctant to intervene because they know that my brother's wife is sensitive, and she holds the power in deciding if they have access to their son. If you upset her, my brother will not speak to you unless you apologize to his wife, even if she is in the wrong. Personally, I feel like I've had enough of this. I will continue buying gifts for my sister's children and my own, but for my other 2 nieces, I will no longer do so. However, my mother believes that this would be unfair and that my nieces will feel excluded. In summary, am I being unreasonable in this situation? It's completely understandable that you feel frustrated and hurt by your brother and his family's lack of gift-giving and appreciation. It's not fair for them to expect gifts from you and your sister while failing to reciprocate or show gratitude. Ultimately, it's your decision whether or not to continue giving gifts to your nieces, and it doesn't make you an a-hole for prioritizing your own children and those of your sister. My girlfriend of 2 years suddenly took everything and left me without saying anything. Just all that. 5 days ago, I tried to call her a few times throughout the day while I was at my tattoo shop to check on her. We both do it daily and chat, but she didn't answer and didn't call back, and later on it went straight to busy. I later learned I was blocked. I eventually got worried if she's okay but checked her Instagram and then other messaging apps she has, where I understood I was blocked everywhere. She hadn't blocked my business SIM, but did so too after I tried that as well. I came home to see along her personal belongings, my cat, whom I had since before her, laptop, iPad, drawing Wacom tablet, and tattoo machines all gone. Also her favorite cologne of mine and her favorite leather jacket of mine. All are gone. No notes. I have nothing to understand this. Recently she's also been asking me for more money here and there. I gave her twice she asked for to get her new iPhone and some other little things. I don't care about the money. I make enough to rebuy the things, but I feel awful and broken. I miss her and I don't know anything. I think I should be angry or hate her, but she was the best before leaving suddenly. She's beautiful, introvert outside, wants to be back at home all the time but talks a lot to me and our friends, and she has had a history of depression. She hasn't looked depressed since the first couple of weeks of us dating. Yes, she gets sad moods as often as any ex-partner of mine got sad, but I tried to be there. Her therapist kept saying she's doing great for a long time. I don't believe she was struggling with depression. I don't know where she is. We didn't fight. Never did. Whatever way I try to reach her, she blocks it. All her friends are my best friends or their partners, all of whom she has also blocked. Her only old friend I knew and had the contacts for lives in another city now, told me it's not her business, but also told me she answered her call and that she's very sorry. The friend, not my now ex-partner. I just don't understand what has happened. We painted together, watched movies together, worked out together, talked and laughed a lot, had a great sex life, cut each other's hair, went shopping, had date nights, parties. I absolutely insanely love her and she does too. I thought she did. I've had enough relationships to know that she did. Not long ago when I had to visit my old man, she FaceTimed to talk in my earbuds throughout the night and just hear me breathe. It's probably cringe to you, it would be to me, but that's just how close we are. I don't know what happened. I don't know what to do. She had asked me to get her a very specific ring with a specific jewel a year into our relationship. And we talked about it a lot, about the future. She was so excited I cared to have the ring made. It wasn't a super expensive ring to sell. She asked for one made of a certain wood. From her family, I have only met her sister. Everyone else who's close family to her is abroad. Her sister tells me weird things, like why did you leave her? What have you done? Where is she? She stopped messaging me after I stopped replying time and time again, that I'm just as confused. I don't know what to do. I can barely eat anything when I get home and I feel sad, a lot, like my heart is about to explode in my chest and I find it hard to breathe. Sorry if this isn't related to this sub. I don't want to tell this to my friends. I just told them we broke up when they asked why she's blocked all contact. Should I just forget all this, without knowing what has happened? Damn, that's rough. It sounds like she completely ghosted you out of nowhere, which is so messed up. It's understandable that you feel sad instead of angry, because you genuinely loved her and thought everything was great. It's a really shitty situation, but all you can do is try to move on and find someone who actually appreciates you. I think my husband is in love with a married woman. I have been thinking about this since Saturday night, and it's a lot to process, so please bear with me. Some background. My husband and I have been married for 5 years and have a daughter. Our relationship has been quite difficult lately, as he has replaced drinking with smoking weed. He wants another child, specifically a boy, but I don't think we can afford it. On Saturday night, we attended a birthday party for a close friend. This friend's wife and my husband have been friends since childhood, and their families have always been close. It has always been somewhat understood by others that they were expected to be together. His mother has made comments in the past, but I didn't take them seriously. When my husband returned from his last military leave, she was already in a relationship with her husband, and he met me soon after. Anyway, back to the party. It was a big event at their house, and our friend got a little drunk, which was a first for me to see. He kept talking about how much he loves his wife and how she planned the party, which was really sweet. Then, he patted my husband on the back and said, "I wouldn't have it all if you hadn't given it up." I laughed, not fully understanding, and so did my husband. His wife wasn't around, but my husband seemed shocked. He disappeared for a while and came back drunk and grumpy. On the way home, he got high and started ranting about our friend, calling him an asshole. He also started talking about all the things he had given up to be with me and how his life should be different. He even said I was awful because I would never do what she does. When I asked him to explain, he said, if she had waited for me, she wouldn't be with him. He passed out when we got home, and I've tried to talk to him about it, but he claims he doesn't remember and tells me not to worry, though he has been on his phone and stoned ever since. In hindsight, I can see other warning signs. When we first got together, he said he didn't want anything serious. There have been comments from his mother and other things that could be seen as competition with our friend's husband, but that's a topic for another time. I always thought my husband looked at her with long-term friendship love, but now I am questioning if there's more to it. She has always been kind to me and even sent us a thoughtful care package after our baby was born. She has 4 boys. I was also his first serious relationship, but I suspect he has held a torch for this woman for years. As far as I know, they never dated. I'm not sure what to do now and would appreciate some advice. He can be a good father when he's sober, and he has offered to go to counseling. However, I don't want to be with someone who clearly loves someone else, even though she is happily married. Is my husband in love with this woman? Can our relationship be saved after this? Am I overreacting, or is my husband truly in love with her? Can our relationship be salvaged? It definitely sounds like there's more going on between your husband and this woman than meets the eye. That comment he made at the party seems pretty revealing, and his reaction afterward is a clear sign that something is up. Counseling might be a good idea to address these underlying issues and figure out if your relationship can be salvaged. Ultimately, you deserve to be with someone who is fully committed to you and doesn't have lingering feelings for someone else. Am I the antagonist for not pressuring my daughter to make amends with her dying great-aunt? A little bit of backstory. I am a 55-year-old woman with a daughter named Mimi who is 22 years old. Mimi's father, Bob, is my ex and we are not on good terms. However, I have always wanted Mimi to have a relationship with her father and his family, even after I moved from Taiwan to Europe with Mimi when she was 5 years old. During the summers, Mimi would visit her dad and stay with his parents, mother-in-law and Phil, along with her aunts Carly and Doreen and other visiting relatives. Unfortunately, I used to be bullied by their entire family, but they would usually keep it civil in front of Mimi because she was their only grandchild carrying their family name. However, her great-aunt, who I'll refer to as Witch, did not hold back. When Mimi was 7-8 years old, Witch met her during the summer and started mocking me to my daughter's face. She called me an useless mother who couldn't even bear a son for the family. My daughter, who has always had a stronger personality than me, didn't hesitate to stand up for herself. She threw the Respect Thy Elders convention to the wind and berated Witch with the worst insults she knew at the time. Mimi even went on hunger strike. Mimi is stubborn and has a vindictive streak when she feels insulted, so she went on a hunger strike and locked herself in the toilet for 2 days. At first, her dad, aunts, and grandparents thought she was just throwing a tantrum that would eventually calm down. However, Mimi held on and demanded that her great-aunt apologize and leave. I'm not sure how it ended, but the great-aunt left without apologizing and Mimi got punished by her dad for her actions. I only found out about this recently because Mimi didn't want to cause trouble for me if I found out. Now, many years later, Mimi still holds a grudge against Witch. Nobody brings up Witch's name in front of Mimi. However, Witch is now dying from old age and has requested to talk to Mimi for reconciliation. This is important to Witch because she has no descendants or husband, so she needs Mimi, as the only child of the family, to carry out the burial traditions usually left to the head of the family. Mother-in-law passed away and Bob is in prison. When Carly begged Mimi on the phone to forgive Witch, Mimi laughed and responded with a confident hell no, then hung up. These burial traditions hold great religious significance for their family, and denying the great-aunt this reconciliation would make her a family-less ghost according to our local belief, similar to a spirit stuck in purgatory hell. Now, my sisters-in-law and even Bob are pleading with me to talk sense into Mimi to convince her to do it as a favor for a dying woman. However, Mimi remains cold and insists that Witch brought this upon herself. Would I be the asshole if I didn't try to change her mind? I believe I could convince her to forgive Witch, but why should I? I understand the importance of this semi-religious practice to Witch and the family. Even my parents are trying to persuade my daughter to let it go. I can totally understand why Mimi doesn't want to reconcile with the great-aunt after all those years of disrespect. It's ultimately Mimi's decision whether to forgive or not, and if she feels strongly about not doing it, then it's her right. It's not fair for everyone to put the burden on you to change her mind. Girlfriend had an affair child to get back at me for having a child from a previous relationship. I have been deleting and rewriting this post for hours. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to my family. I don't know how we will recover. We have been dating for 3 years. We have 2 children. One that she is the biological mother of, Jake, a 5-month-old male, and I have a son, Alex, a 6-year-old male, from a previous relationship, and he means everything to me. I don't think I would be here right now if it wasn't for him. He is the reason I have to keep going despite what is happening, even though it's incredibly difficult. Alex's biological mother and I were never together. We co-parented for 8 months before she gave me full custody, but the reasons aren't important here. I met my current girlfriend, Mary, 3 years ago. I have always been open and honest with her. I told her that I had a 3-year-old son at the time, and she was completely okay with it. She met him and was great with him. There were no signs that she disliked him at all. We didn't plan for a baby, but I was happy when she got pregnant, and so was she. She gave birth to Jake 5 months ago. 3 weeks ago, while the kids were asleep, we were getting ready to watch one of my favorite movies together. She left her phone on the couch and asked me to bring it over because she was busy in the kitchen. I noticed a text on her phone from a man named Gerald, and the message said something like, "I love that color on him." It wasn't suspicious or incriminating. I handed her the phone and asked, "Who is Gerald?" She looked really upset, and I wasn't accusing her of anything, I was just curious. But she immediately started apologizing. I didn't understand what she was talking about, but it sounded like she was admitting to having an affair. We both started crying, and our voices escalated, causing the baby to start crying as well. She went to take care of him. We have had multiple discussions since then, and I believe she is telling me the truth, but it's so unlike her and feels cold. I don't know. She told me she was upset that I had a son from a previous relationship, and that she wanted to have my first child. She wanted to get back at me, so she found a man with similar hair color and they had sex a few times until she got pregnant. This man knew about the situation too. She told me the baby was mine, but he wasn't. She cheated on me just to make it even. She updates him about the baby and has even let him see our son twice. It makes me feel sick, and I have so many questions. Why did she leave her phone with the messages on it? I feel like a part of her wanted me to see it. I feel foolish for having a child with her. I don't regret my son, but I do regret being with her, if that makes any sense. Any love I had for her has vanished. Any love I felt for anything in general has vanished since I found out. I have been so emotionally numb, and it feels like I'm just observing myself from a distance every day. I never feel present in my own body anymore. We don't talk anymore. She sleeps in the bed and I sleep on the couch. It's unfair that I'm the one on the couch when she was the one who cheated. The worst part is that I always thought my son looked so much like me, but he's not even mine. She was initially sorry, but now she says it makes us even. She doesn't care that I sit and stare at the ground for hours. She has become cold and rude to me. She doesn't care at all about how much she has hurt me and affected our family. I can't believe I brought my son into this situation. I can't believe I had another son with her. I can't leave my child with her. She is unstable. I feel like I deserve this, but what was my wrongdoing? Having a child before I even knew she existed. I have nobody to talk to. I don't know where to turn. I haven't told my family or her family. What do I even say? I haven't talked to anyone about this. I feel as if I'm grieving. In a way, my relationship has died. I feel like a part of me died that night. Nothing feels real anymore. I have lost so much weight. I don't even feel hungry. I just feel tired and insignificant. She doesn't even care. It hurts so much that she doesn't even care anymore. She tells me to get over it, be strong, change the baby's diaper. She tells me I should have known. She has become a different person. I have as well. I feel completely empty. When I look at my sons, it brings a brief moment of happiness, but then all the pain rushes back. Alex asks why Daddy's tired, and I told him that Daddy's sick. He made me canned chicken noodle soup, which is the only thing I have been able to eat without feeling nauseous. What will I tell him? What will I tell everyone? What am I supposed to do now? I'm so sorry you're going through this. It sounds incredibly difficult and heartbreaking. It's understandable that you're feeling hurt and betrayed. It might be helpful to confide in a close friend or family member who can offer guidance and support during this tough time. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness, and it's important to prioritize your own well-being and the well-being of your children. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.